Thompson.
I'm Julian Gallardi, and yes, we have a new segment now, Touchdown or Audible. Where we were right, where we were wrong, touchdown, obviously right. Audible means we messed up, we got to change the play. So first game, we got Bears-Packers, and it was a touchdown for me. 10-3 victory from the Packers. The Bears looked very awful. My main takeaway from this game was Mitch Trubisky and how bad he was. I know Bobby didn't expect this. 26 of 45, not much offense going at all. They didn't get it done. 228 yards, 3 points, 1 interception late to Amos. One of my main takeaways is, what was Matt Nagy thinking, calling 31 straight passing plays at one point? They ran it just 15 times. So the question is the Packers defense this good, or is the Bears offense to Mitchell Trubisky this bad?
Well, here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say it's a mixture of both. I'm going to start with Mitch Trubisky. He couldn't hit the ocean the other night. He was absolutely horrendous. I'm disgusted by what I saw from this man. Last year, he had some of the best defenses in football. He torched them. And the Packers, nobody thought that their defense would be as good as this, but they proved everybody wrong, including myself. Mitch Trubisky, the only person who could play for him that he was doing good with was Allen Robinson, who had 7 receptions for over 100 yards. Other than that, he missed a lot of open receivers. He made a lot of questionable decisions on fourth down. I don't understand it. Matt Nagy, the play calling was suspect. I don't like it. You're more creative. Get creative with that. Now with the Packers defense, they went out and got 2 big-time pass rushers, Zadarius Smith from the Ravens and Preston Smith from the Redskins. And they're starting to pay dividends in their first game. They were disruptive. They were in the backfield every play. Mitch Trubisky was under duress every time. They stopped the run. And that's another thing, too. David Montgomery was doing good for the Bears. He was getting 4 yards a carry, and you guys just don't run. I don't understand. I don't get it. The Packers defense surprised me. Their secondary played absolutely outstanding. Amos seemed to be really an X factor for them. It's funny. Yeah. They get Amos, and the Bears got Clinton Dix. That's funny. So, too, so a little switcheroo. But
looks like the Packers got the better end of that one for sure.
Yeah. So, with that, I'm going to say it's a mixture of both.
Okay, yeah, that's a fair point. So, 1-0 Julian. But this next game, Bills-Jets, this is a double audible. We both didn't see this one coming. Jets were up 16-0. They blow the game. Biggest thing here was C.J. Mosley getting injured. He had 2 turnovers. He was playing a great game, including the pick 6. But my biggest takeaway from the Bills side is Devin Singletary. 9 touches, 100 yards. This kid's going to be a problem for the league. And I think that he really showed what he can do. Jets lose a tough division game week 1, 17-16. I'm not going to say much more about it. We broke this down already. Do you have any final thoughts on it?
All I'm going to say is there's a few things. The kicking game is a problem.
For sure.
You're up 16-0. He missed a field goal and an extra point. That's 4 points. That's 20-0 right there. And could have won the game. That could have won the game for you. He makes those 2 kicks. Mm-hmm. So, with that, the one thing I will say is I'm very impressed with the Jets defense. Did play very well. Josh Allen stayed in the pocket. They kept him in the pocket for most of the game, but there were times where he broke free, and that's where damage was done. I will say this. They did have problems covering the slot receiver, as they always do. The Jets, it is a problem. Mm-hmm. So you have good slot guys, like, for instance, New England and so on and so forth. They're going to have problems with that position. Devin Singletary, I will agree, he is a problem. He's very good. He's very quick. He hits the hole hard. The one thing, C.J. Mosley, I've said it since you guys signed him. He's the best linebacker, one of the best linebackers in football. He was an X factor on that defense. He had a pick 6. A forced fumble and a fumble recovery. I'm sorry. The fumble recovery was McClendon. Sorry. Yeah. So that's 2 turnovers right there. Mm-hmm. And then he hurt his groin, and that's where it all went down.
Yeah, also another big takeaway from this game before we move forward. The Jets line still can't block anyone apparently.
No, they cannot.
Darnold had sacked 4 times. They had constant pressure in his face. He was off rhythm. He was off time. He had happy feet. He was really looking to get rid of the ball quickly because no one was blocking. So, is the Jets offense this bad? Is the Bills defense this good? Is the O-line this bad? Is the blocking? Is it not scheming? I don't know. I mean, we're going to have to see what happens, I guess. Darnold, only 28 completions for 175 yards. That's not going to get it done. That is not how you win football games, throwing under 200 yards. So my other question was, and I guess I can answer this, the conservative play callings that contribute to the non-blocking. That's what Gay said. A couple deep shots were missed, but we've talked about this game at length. Let's move on to another double audible. Vikings and Falcons, and we did not see this one coming. Falcons got destroyed 28-12. This was a very weird game. Dalvin Cook really showed that he can be back this year, 100 yards and 2 touchdowns. Kirk Cousins throws just 10 pass attempts. Matt Ryan gets picked off twice. It was a sloppy game from the Falcons. Not really much going on. Devonta Freeman just 20 yards. Really disappointing effort week 1. I thought this team was going to be ready to go. They weren't, and the Vikings took it to them.
Yeah, Dalvin Cook is back. He showed it. He's looking like he did in college, as a lot of people said, and I agree. He was absolutely outstanding. You know, the one thing I feel is that Kirk Cousins is so inconsistent. I think Mike Zimmer now had found a way to win games. You know, Dalvin Cook is so dangerous, not only running the ball, but catching the ball. He had a great day. Matt Ryan did not show up. I'm sorry, he was terrible. Devonta Freeman, terrible. The offense for the Falcons just was not there. It's concerning. It is a double audible for us. We both thought the Falcons would get this win. We thought Julio Jones would have a big day. It just did not happen. It was upsetting for the Falcons. But one thing I take away from this is that Mike Zimmer only threw the ball 10 times.
Yeah.
And they still won the game nice. So, I don't know. We'll see what happens. And maybe the defense for the Vikings maybe is back to its normal form.
I also think that, like you said, it could be a change in philosophy. Last year they threw it way too much and didn't run it enough. Are they starting to realize that they need to reverse that? It looks like this was the trend, and they started doing that this week. So we'll see if it continues for them. Next game up on the slate, we were both right on this with a double touchdown, but it was closer than we thought. Eagles-Redskins 32-27. Redskins jumped out to a 17-0 lead. Case Keenum threw for almost 400 yards, which I was stunned by. Is this Eagles secondary going to be a problem? That's something I would look out for. 3 touchdowns, 380 yards. On the Eagles side, Carson Wentz, over 300 yards, 3 touchdowns. Also, Deshaun Jackson is back in Philly, and he made his presence felt, catching 2 long touchdown passes, 135 yards. He was back to his old self in Philly. What was one of your takeaways from this game?
Is just how resilient Carson Wentz really is. He was down, and he led them to a nice comeback. He really is the future of quarterbacking in this league. He's very, very good. He does not let things bother him. If he's down big, he just finds ways, and he has such great weapons on offense to make it happen. Deshaun Jackson being back, he just adds to that list. Him going deep, it showed that he's happy to be back in Philly. They're happy to have him back. He had a huge day. One thing I will say, the Eagles defense, I don't understand how they won a Super Bowl with a secondary this bad. I don't understand. 400
yards to Case Keenum. That's a cause for concern.
It's an embarrassment. Doug Peterson really has an issue on his hands. They got to figure it out if they really want to go far in the playoffs. Your offense will only take you so far, and this year it's not going to get done. You need to play defense, and you know. They did lose Malik Jackson, one of the that's a big time loss on the defensive line. Yes, he's out for the year.
Oh, already out for the year. So there we go.
With a Liz Frank foot injury, he's out for the year. The defensive line took a big hit. They still have Cox, they still have Bradham, they still have the other boys, but they're going to need to figure it out. The corners on that team are horrendous, and it's going to be a huge problem. They got to figure it out.
Okay, so next game was an absolute touchdown, and there was a lot of touchdowns scored in this one. Ravens and Dolphins, 59-10. Lamar Jackson, 17-20, over 300 yards passing, 5 touchdowns. So the main takeaway from this is Lamar Jackson, legitimate quarterback now. Do we need to see more? Are the Dolphins too easy of a test? How do you feel about Lamar Jackson after watching this game? Because he put on a show.
I think he shut everybody up. I think he showed everybody that he could not only be dynamic running the ball, but he could be amazing throwing the ball. We all knew he had a great arm. Last year, I feel like he was thrown to the fire. They really didn't utilize his skill set. They didn't use him enough throwing the ball. I think that Harbaugh should have given him more chances. But look, this guy, Hollywood Brown, lit it up.
That's a big takeaway from that game.
And he's Antonio Brown's cousin.
Oh, boy.
They do the call guy.
Yeah.
And he lit it up in his NFL debut. He played very well. He was uncoverable. I'm just going to tell you this: the Dolphins are a Pop Warner team. That's what they are. It's garbage down there.
Oh, yeah,
I feel bad for Brian Flores for what he got himself into. But Lamar Jackson proved everybody wrong. I know it's week 1 and I know it's the Dolphins. But I could see him playing exceptionally well going forward. I think he's a great quarterback. He has a lot of potential.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to tell you this. Mark Ingram to that offense just added another stellar guy. He is absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
I think the Saints made a huge mistake letting him go, but he really fits in week 1. They were scoring points up and down the field. The Dolphins could not stop a nosebleed. They could not move the ball to save their life. It was embarrassing to watch. And I'm glad I didn't watch it. Watching the highlights were even bad to watch.
Yeah, that game was a train
So
wreck.
all I'm going to say is this. I think that Lamar Jackson shut everybody up. I know it's week 1.
He did for a week, for sure.
1.
He definitely did. I agree with most of what you said, honestly. I think Lamar Jackson can do a lot of good things going forward. It was the Dolphins, but this was a great display. He didn't have to run. He beat them throwing. He barely ran the ball at all. Ingram's going to be a solid, like you said, 100 yards, 2 touchdowns for Ingram, just adding another weapon to that offense. So Dolphins are trash. We knew that. Titans and Browns, this was a very surprising. This is definitely double audible for us. And the Browns, they should have called more audibles based on what happened to them. Baker Mayfield was absolutely horrendous. 3 turnovers. He was sacked 5
in the
times.
fourth quarter.
Greg Robinson got ejected after kicking someone in the helmet. They also, here's something, my biggest takeaway from this game. The Browns made a big mistake trading Kevin Zeitler. They did not need to do that. That offensive line is not good. The Jets and Browns will play next week. We'll see if the Jets can take advantage. But back to last week, Odell was wearing his $250,000 watch because, of course, it's all about him. What else is new? Derrick Henry was a beast, 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, picking up where he left off last year. Mariota even had a good game with 3 touchdowns. And speaking of coming out parties, how about A.J. Brown with 100 yards?
Yeah, I'm going to start off with this game. Baker Mayfield ran his mouth this week, as you know, saying that the Browns receivers should lick their chops to play these corners. You don't run your mouth. Those corners are underrated,
That's
okay, buddy?
Pie, Baker.
Malcolm Butler pick 6 your ass. Logan Ryan sacked your ass. He's playing good in coverage. Adoree Jackson is I didn't think he was a good cover guy, but he was very good the other day. This defense is underrated for the Titans. We've all said it. Baker, just stop talking. Now, moving on to Odell, of course it's about him. He's a diva. We know what he is. Now you're wearing a $250,000 watch. Someone breaks that. What are you going to do? I think that's asinine. Yeah, and of course, it's a distraction. Why you're wearing a watch at a football game beats me. Because if you look up, I'm sure on the scoreboard sometime will tell you the time. Are you just worried about what time the game will be over so you can party or something? I don't know. So, Other than that, the Kevin Zeitler trade, I agree 100%. This line is horrendous. It's a problem. Everyone was all excited about these weapons for the Browns. Oh, they're going to the Super Bowl. They're going to win the division. Yeah, after week 1, I don't see shit. I'm sorry, excuse me. It's a train wreck there. Freddie Kitchens obviously does not know how to run the team. I know it's week 1.
But it was not a good look.
No, it's not a good look. And you can't, it's a lot of distractions and it's a lot of problems. So I need to see, they're going to have to change a lot of stuff. Yeah. And Monday night, Jets, Browns, it's not going to be a cakewalk because
one team.
Because if there's somebody who knows the Browns well, it's Greg Williams.
Oh, there we go, of course. So Delaney Walker said it best. They are what we thought they were.
Dennis Green reference. I love it.
So that's that. That game was very surprising. Here's a double touchdown. Chiefs-Jaguars.
Of course.
And Nick Foles gets injured. Patty Mahomes picks up where he left off. Nearly 400 yards and 3 touchdowns. My big takeaway from this one is Sammy Watkins coming out party. 200 yards, 3 touchdowns. Tyreek Hill also gets injured. So is this going to be Watkins wide receiver 1? He's going to have all the chances in the world now. Obviously, Kelsey's still there. McCoy had 81 yards in his debut. And for Jacksonville, how about DJ Chark with 150 yards and a touchdown?
Yeah, with this game, I'll start it off. Patty Mahomes, right where he left off, he picks up. the 400 yards, 3 touchdowns. You lose Tyreek Hill, and Sammy Watkins just shows that everybody slept on him. He has this potential. He was great in college. And I predict he's going to be a problem for a lot of teams now. They're going to throw to him a lot. They're going to create Andy Reid is so creative on offense that he'll create packages to succeed with Sammy Watkins. You know, for those of you who don't know real fast, Tyreek Hill is out 4 to 6 weeks. He's not on IR, so he'll be back in about a month or so. About a month. The one thing I will say, Patty Mahomes missed a wide-open Travis Kelce in the end zone the other day on a no-look pass, and it was bad. But with this, the Jaguars, DJ Chark, everybody in Jacksonville, a lot of fans said that he's the real deal, and he showed it. He's the real deal. Everyone was saying D.D. Westbrook, it's Chark. Chark is an underrated pickup for them last year. You saw he could make plays. He could be dominant, and you saw it on display the other day. With this, though, I think that the Chiefs are going to be fine without Tyreek Hill. I mean, it takes a big weapon away, but they're so loaded on offense, and especially the rookie Hardman, they'll be fine. And LaShawn McCoy in this offense back with Andy Reid, it's just a match made in heaven. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, Chiefs I think will be okay, but Jacksonville is going to go with Gus Minshew now. And he had 2 touchdowns to pick. He was 22 of 25, and he's going to be their starter until Nick Foles returns, if he returns. So Foles is on IR. He'll be out for at least 8 weeks, that means. So we're going to have to see how the Jaguars pick it up. Next game, Rams-Panthers. Bobby got me on this one. It was an audible for me, a touchdown for Bobby. Rams win 30-27. And the big takeaway for me in this one was the rushing attack from the Rams was back at full force. Mm-hmm. And also that Brown, not Henderson, ended up getting the reps behind Todd Gurley. Gurley had 97 yards. Rams had 170 as a team. Christian McCaffrey had over 200 yards from scrimmage, picking up where he left off. Those are my takeaways from that game. What did you think about it?
Christian McCaffrey is a whole different animal. He is so dynamic. He's a wide receiver 1, running back 1. He's amazing. He does it all for the Panthers. He's a Swiss Army knife type of guy. You could use him any kind of way. And that's something the Panthers should be happy they got him. One thing I will say is Cam, I don't think Cam played very well, in my opinion. I really don't.
Yeah, it was McCaffrey type.
And he was a big part of them scoring points. With the Rams, the one thing I will take away is I think Jared Goff played mediocre at best. I was not impressed with him. He could not get the ball to his playmakers. You saw Brandon Cooks only had 2 catches, 39 yards. They usually get him the ball a lot more. Todd Gurley, the one thing with Todd Gurley, you would think that because of the knee arthritis, and I was shocked they didn't use Henderson and it was Brown. But
yeah,
Brown,
that's definitely something to know.
That's something to monitor. That's something to monitor. But that guy Brown was lighting it up. Yeah. They could not stop the nosebleed. Defense. That defense is not what it used to be. So.
That's a big question, actually. That's what I meant to ask before. Is the Panthers' rush defense that bad, or the Rams that good at running the football?
I'm gonna say just the Rams are good running the football.
Okay, it could very well be.
I think the Panthers' D line is underrated. I think they could figure it out. But the Rams' attack is just too dynamic, in my opinion.
All right, so that was part 1. We hit all the 1 o'clock games in the Thursday night game. We're going to split this into a 2-part series. We're going to break this up right now. So if you guys like what you saw, follow us and subscribe on GT Sports Talk, and you can check the second part of this video right after this.